Hi, my name's Jess Coggins. I go to the Bloomington hometown location, and I wanted to share a story with you about how God has radically changed my life, and hope that it encourages you. Last summer, I was having one of the best summers I'd ever had in my life. Was outside a lot, hanging out with friends. Just relationships were deep and flourishing. It just was great. So many things that were amazing and wonderful about it. Um, and starting toward the end of the summer, I started to feel kind of off. Like, what is going on? There's so much good happening right now. I don't quite understand why I feel so down. And this continued to progress into the fall. And soon I came to realize that I was showing signs of depression. I'm not unfamiliar with depression. Usually I struggle every year with seasonal affective disorder between the months of February and March, and that I'm very familiar with and know what to do when that time comes and how to care for myself. But this was completely out of left field. It wasn't February or March. It's, the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, and it just wasn't quite the same as even, the winter months tend to be. So I tried to continue on with my days and making sure I was in the Word and being with the Lord, but it just continued to get worse to the point that I wasn't really feeling God's presence in my life anymore. And the enemy was much louder in my mind, hearing his attacks more strongly, especially in my thoughts. Eventually, it got to be where the enemy attacked me physically too. He would just take all strength away from me in a moment. Would start infesting my mind with pretty severe lies. Lies such as, life's not worth living. Nobody loves you or cares about you. Everyone thinks this is all in your head. You need to die. Lots of thoughts of suicide started filtering in through my mind. And at first, I was terrified by that because it's something I would never do. Those are thoughts I normally don't struggle with. And it scared me. And then when those thoughts would start to happen, I would start to have panic attacks. And that's when I would physically just fall to the ground, wasn't able to move, would sob uncontrollably, and have a hard time breathing. It got to the point where the lies were so prevalent, pretty much happening most minutes of the day, that I started to really believe that what he was saying was true, that his ideas were good ideas. And that's when a lot of help had to be put into place to care for me and for my family, which I was immensely thankful for how the church stepped up to support us during that really difficult time. Time continued to go on into the next year, and it was still a very real struggle. But during that time, I kept in the Word. I knew that was the only source of truth that I had in my life. And during the times when I would be in the Word were the only times I didn't hear Satan's lies. They were the only times when I had some sense of hope that one day I wouldn't struggle with this anymore, that I knew God was trying to teach me something in all of it. I didn't want to be numb to it. I wanted to feel. I wanted to be aware of what was going on around me, aware of what the enemy was doing. And in a time of prayer in March, I asked God to lift the wall that had been placed between us. I asked him if it was his will and if it was his time for me, that he would lift that wall between us, that I could be reunited with him again. And he did. It was incredible. I all of a sudden just felt this weight lift off of me, had a time of joy and felt happy. Just feelings that I hadn't felt in so long. And I'm like, oh, God, this is so nice. Thank you for giving me this moment of joy, thinking that it would soon end. But it didn't. He lifted the wall, and the wall stayed away. And I was able to have this sense of being reunited with God again. It was beautiful. There's a lot I look back on that time about, and a lot of the things that I did during that time while I was in the Word was focus heavily on Psalms, looking at all of them for verses on God being my refuge and my place of safety, that he was my shelter, my provider, my comforter, a lot of those attributes of God that I focused on, and truths about him. Psalm 42 and Psalm 56 were psalms that definitely were read more than some others. But those were the words I just underlined in every spot I could find them in Psalms. You are my refuge. You are my strength. You are my safe place. And that's what I know now to be true about God. I had never relied on God in that way prior to this time. And that's what he wanted to teach me, was that he is my portion. He is all I need. His word is sufficient. It is my food. It is my nourishment. It is my place of refuge. That God is truth. He is love. He is comfort in a way that isn't worldly. And that is all I need. And since then, my dependence on God has radically changed. I want to do his will before my own. I want to seek him before I seek other things. His truth is the truth that I live by, and nothing else. And I want nothing more than to spend my time with him and to be close to him and to rely on him. And I can see now, being here and looking back, that that wasn't an aspect of my life that I could say that was true about me before going through all of this. I thought I depended on God, but I really didn't. I didn't really know what dependence on God looked like until he was really all that I had to depend on. I really wanted to share this to encourage anybody who can resonate with this. Depression is very well known. So many people struggle with that, and it looks different for everybody. And if you need help or want support, please let me know. I would love to be a source of encouragement for you, a place of safety for you, to help you go through a difficult time in your life, and just to encourage you and love on you with God's truth. Have a good day.